Good morning. Welcome. Today we're going to be doing some market stats for Santa Clara County and Milpitas. So first, let's take a look at the map and kind of just orient ourselves with both Milpitas and Santa Clara County. So here we go. So here's Santa Clara County. The main area here, this is South Bay here. So San Jose is here. Milpitas is right up here. This is Alameda County, Fremont. Here's San Francisco up here. This is Morgan Hill and Gilroy, which we like to call South County. Mountain View is right here. Cupertino is right down here. Sunnyvale. Let's zoom in to Milpitas. So this is Milpitas right here, right? So first, let's run through the stats of Santa Clara County. Let me change my screen to this chart here. So we're looking here at single-family homes in Santa Clara County. If you've been following the market, both real estate and stock market, things have slowed down a little bit in terms of increase in prices. So just looking here at the number of homes available for sale and number that have sold, we're at pretty high inventory compared to the last 2 years. So the previous high was 167 single-family homes for sale in Santa Clara County. Last month, we were at 1,300. The key metric I like to look at is the absorption rate. So that's the percentage of homes that are sold, right? And look, we can also look at the months of inventory. We'll show us some stats on that. So we can see here, 1,300 active and 800 sold, right? So it's nice to compare month to months going back. So here 1,315 actives and 838 sold. So looking at last year, it's about 1-to-1. So 871 to 815. And the previous year, 2023, was 794 to 589. So there's a bigger delta this year, right? So that means it's less crazy, I would say, compared to previous years. So the stats we're going to be going through are active, days on market, median sales price, and months of inventory. So let's start with median sales price. That's always interesting to look at. So here's the chart. Doesn't look like much, right? But once we pull the actual numbers, you can see, right? So we're looking just at April. So 2023 median sales price was 1.768 up to 2 million, and now it's 2.1 million, right? So it definitely dropped a little bit towards the end of last year, right? So going down to 1.8, and then now we've creeped back up this year from 1.8, 1.9 to 2.1. Let's look at days on market. How many days it takes to receive an offer? So we're still quite fast, right? 8 days on market. So single digit is still quite fast. I think once May ends and we look at that, I think the number will creep up a little bit, right? Maybe to 10 days on market. Last stat we're going to look at for the whole county is months of inventory. So we're definitely higher, kind of like what I was alluding to, right? So previous years was 1.3 months of inventory, 1.1, and 1.6 now, right? So it's a little bit better than February, but definitely higher than last year, right? The high of last year was 1.7 months of inventory for single-family homes in Santa Clara County. So let's zoom in a little bit to Milpitas. Okay. Here we we go. Let's look at number of actives and number of sales. So here we go here. So we can see how fast things were moving last year for Milpitas, right? So looking at April, we have 36 active and 22 single family homes sold, and it's the exact opposite in 2024, right? So way more for April, way more solds than active. So last year, April, Milpitas was super hot. 31 sold with only 21 actives, whereas this year it's 30, it's flipped, right? There's more actives than sold. What does that mean? It means buyers have a little bit more time, a little more choice, right? So 2 years ago in 2023, it was even, number of actives and number of sold. We can probably see that in the sales prices. So let's look at the sales prices. Let's look at the line chart on this. So it's steadily gone up, okay? The y-axis is kind of skewing this because it's starting at 0, right? But if we look at the actual data across, right, look at how high the prices are now. It's gone from 1.4 to 1.6 to 1.9 median sales price. So quite high in Milpitas. We're looking at, for this year, from 1.6, 1.5, 1.4 million dollars for a single family house. So let's look at how long it's taking to sell, median days on market. So we're at single digits, moving quite fast. At the beginning of the year, you can see it was kind of slowing down, taking a little bit longer, and I think we'll also see that reflected in May, right? May is not over yet, but I think from what I'm seeing on the ground, it's taking a little bit longer. And now let's look at months of inventory, right? So beginning of the year, a lot more. So all of last year, quite tight, 1.4 being the highest, and then now for this year, 2025, January was super high, a lot of inventory. Months of inventory, now we're at 1.6 months. Still higher than last year and the year before, right? So one thing I think we need to also discuss is the condo townhouse market, right? So we'll look at specifically Milpitas for this with the number of, let's do columns for all of these. So we can see dramatic increase, right, in number of condos for sale, condos and townhouses. So 52, 51, the highest last year was 38. And the number of sales is actually kind of staying steady, right? So like 19, 20, 21, 20. So there's a lot more choices for the buyers right now for condos and townhouses, right? So they're definitely taking longer to sell condos and townhouses. We're looking at Milpitas in particular. Let's look at how the prices have gone. So let's look at median sales price. So it's gone up a little bit. It went so 900 to 1.2 to 1.275. So a little bit lower than March of 1.3. So our current median sales price of a condo and condo townhouse in Milpitas is 1.275. And then now we'll see the months of inventory. Should be a lot, 2.6, right? So compared to 1.4 months and 1 month before, right? So all of this year it's over 2, and then March was 3.3 months of inventory. All right, so kind of what we're seeing here is the big macro picture is the stock market, right? With the trade war took a large hit, and we've largely recovered that actually. So that's pretty promising for the future of our market here, since we're heavily dependent on the stock market. What we're seeing is inventory has increased for both single families and condos and townhouses. So I think it still is definitely a seller's market, but I think there's a lot of opportunities out there for buyers. So if you have any specific cities or any questions, please reach out to us, and hope everyone has an awesome day.